Past case studies of outbreaks can help us understand food safety principles, and learning how hazards cause past outbreaks and recalls is necessary to understand what steps need to be taken to prevent these incidences. Through these examples, we can also better understand how hazard analysis and risk-based preventive controls can help prevent, eliminate, or reduce the occurrences of health hazards. The first example is about an outbreak of Salmonella typhimurium that started in September 2008 and went until March 2009. The Peanut Corporation of America discovered Salmonella typhimurium in their 5-pound containers of peanut butter. These bulk jars were not usually sold to individuals. Rather, they were sold to long-term care facilities, universities, restaurants, delis, and other organizations serving large groups of people. From this outbreak, 714 people from 46 states were infected, and 24% of these people were hospitalized, and 9 of them died. For this outbreak, a total of 2,800 products were recalled on January 28, 2009, for all products made since January 2007. After investigation, it was found that Salmonella contamination was known within the company. It was determined that all contaminated products originated from the facility in Blakely, Georgia. The company ordered the products to be shipped to customers before receiving results of microbiological testing that revealed the presence of Salmonella. The company did not inform customers who received the potentially contaminated products in any of these instances. Peanut Corporation of America's Blakely, Georgia facility shipped products before receiving positive test results for Salmonella 12 times between 2007 and 2009. Multiple members of the company, including the executive and the quality assurance manager, were arrested and convicted. The executive was convicted on 72 counts of fraud, conspiracy, and the introduction of adulterated foods into interstate commerce. He and the quality assurance manager received a 20-year and 5-year sentence, respectively. The company also declared bankruptcy on February 13, 2009. The next case involved ice cream products produced by Bluebell Creameries. 10 people from 4 states were diagnosed with listeriosis due to a Listeria monocytogenes infection after eating Bluebell ice cream or milkshake products. Of these people, 3 in Kansas died. A recall was issued for all Bluebell products from every facility on April 20, 2015. Investigation found the illnesses were linked to 2 facilities, one in Texas and one in Oklahoma. Even though no illness was linked to the Alabama facility, Listeria monocytogenes were also found in that facility. In the Brannan, Texas facility, a definitive source of Listeria monocytogenes could not be identified. There were several potential sources, and it was found that the bacterium was harbored in various pieces of equipment. Some of these machines had parts that were unable to be cleaned during sanitation procedures. These machines were decommissioned, and testing programs were reviewed and enhanced. In the Broken Arrow, Oklahoma facility, the source of Listeria monocytogenes was a drain. This strain was in a room that stored equipment used on products after pasteurizations. Particles containing Listeria monocytogenes came from the drain and contaminated the equipment. These equipment then contaminated the product, which had already gone through pasteurization. The Department of Health and Human Services conducted inspections of each affected facility and published reports on their findings. Numerous observations of how the facilities or personnel did not follow proper procedures to limit biological hazards were recorded. For example, there were citations for improper hand washing techniques, failures to hold food products at the proper temperatures, a failure to change gloves frequently, and many more. Failures in manufacturing that did not minimize potential microbial growth and improper cleaning and sanitizing of equipment were also observed. In addition, sources of contamination such as condensate that was dripping directly into ice cream products were also found. Along with improper changes of gloves, unsuitable out garments were not worn on many occasions. A failure to maintain clean food contact sources on multiple locations was also cited. Similar to the Peanut Corporation of America, the potential contamination was known by members of the company, but the proper authorities were not notified, along with the consumers. Employees of Bluebell were instructed to remove potentially infected Bluebell products from store shelves without informing the stores or the FDA. There were also criminal consequences when it was discovered that members of Bluebell tried to cover up the outbreak. The president was charged with conspiracy and wire fraud for his part in handling the cover-up. After the recall of Bluebell products and legal repercussions, the company closed production for months. During this period, they enhanced sanitation processes and created a program to test for Listeria before shipment. Gold medal unbleached all-purpose flour was recalled on multiple separate occasions. It was first contaminated with Salmonella and recalled on January 23, 2019. It was recalled again for Escherichia coli O26 contamination on September 16, 2019. For both occasions, the gold medal company issued statements that flour is not a ready-to-eat product. Flour should be baked, fried, boiled, or cooked in other ways before consuming. This process should also be able to kill these pathogens. This example also highlights the importance of educating consumers about food safety practices because they are the end users of food products. One of the more deadly and dangerous foodborne pathogens is Clostridium botulinum. This species of bacteria is capable of producing botulinum toxin, which is a very potent neurotoxin. The food industry creates rigorous processes to target Clostridium botulinum because the organism can produce endospores, which are resistant to many common treatments. Pressure canning at 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 116 degrees Celsius or above for a specific period is needed to kill the pathogen. However, home canning and home food processing presents dangers for Clostridium botulinum outbreaks because they are sometimes not processed properly. One example of this occurred when 2 otherwise healthy women were sickened by the botulinum toxin produced by Clostridium after eating improperly canned pesto. The improper canning creates an environment without oxygen, which is suitable for this organism. If canning is not done properly, such as improper acidification and pressurization practices, the product is at risk for Clostridium botulinum contamination. Another example of Clostridium botulinum occurred with Death Wish coffee in 2017. The company recall is Death Wish nitro cans due to a flaw in production that could possibly allow the species to grow. The reduced oxygen and pH of coffee created a favorable environment for Clostridium botulinum. Fortunately, the company detected the flaw in packaging and quickly issued a statement and recalled the product. The swift action and responsibility prevented an outbreak and no cases were reported. A final example related to biological hazards was about the I Am Healthy soy nut butter. This peanut butter alternative was contaminated with Escherichia coli 0157H7, which is dangerous because it releases sugar toxin and causes a serious condition called hemolytic uremic syndrome, a form of kidney disease. If left untreated, this can lead to kidney failure or death. In this case, there were 32 infections of sugar toxin E. coli 0157H7 across 12 states. Of these, 12 people were hospitalized and 9 people developed hemolytic uremic syndrome. Fortunately, 0 deaths were reported. Another type of hazards related to food safety is chemical hazards. Allergens fall into the category of chemical hazards and are a common danger in food products. In the U.S., if a food product contains any of the top 8 common allergens, the allergens need to be listed in the label of the food product to prevent potential harm for consumers. Undeclared allergens were reported to be the most common reason for Class 1 recalls for the past 3 years. Whole Foods markets were repeatedly cited for not labeling allergens. Between October 2019 and November 2020, the company recalled 32 products, mainly in the bakery and dairy, for unlabeled allergens. The FDA warned the company that all their allergens must be labeled on all products. The third type of hazards are physical hazards. These can include anything from glass to cheap utensils that present a danger to consumers. Mayer recalled their Greek and no-fat yogurt products with the potential risk of small glass particles. The recall was issued after a customer discovered 2 small pieces of glass in their yogurt. No illnesses or injuries were ever discovered from the recall. Here are the related references.